My girlfriend said, "You're too attached. I need space to find myself." I said, "Take all the space you need." Then I started finding myself too, with her roommate's help. Her meltdown when she came home early from her soul-searching retreat. Original post. I, 29 male, was with Natalie, 27, for 2.5 years. We didn't live together. She shared a 2-bedroom apartment with her roommate Ivy, 26. I stayed over probably 4 nights a week, kept some clothes there, had a toothbrush. Normal relationship stuff. 3 weeks ago, Natalie hit me with the talk. We were having dinner at my place where she got all serious. "Ethan, I need to be honest with you. I feel suffocated. You're always around, always texting, always wanting to hang out. I need space to find myself." I put down my fork. Space like a break? Not a break. Just breathing room. I signed up for this wellness retreat. 2 weeks in the mountains, no phones, meditation, yoga, self-discovery. I need this. When I leave Friday. That was 3 days away. "Natalie, if you need space, that's fine. But 2.5 years, and you're just now bringing this up? See, this is exactly what I mean. You're making this about you. I need to prioritize my mental health and spiritual growth." The whole conversation felt rehearsed, like she practiced it. "Okay," I said. "Take all the space you need." She looked surprised. "Really? You're not going to fight me on this? If you need to find yourself, who am I to stop you?" She left that night, kissed my cheek like I was her uncle or something. "Thank you for understanding. I'll see you when I get back." Friday came. She posted on Instagram some filtered selfie with the caption, "Time to reconnect with my authentic self, sparkles, woman in lotus position dizzy." Cool. Good for her. Saturday afternoon, I stopped by the apartment to grab my stuff. Didn't want it sitting there while she was gone. My toothbrush, my shirts, my phone charger. Ivy answered the door. "Oh, hey, Ethan. Natalie's not here." "I know. Just grabbing my things." Ivy leaned against the doorframe. She was in yoga pants and an oversized sweater, hair in a messy bun. The great soul-searching retreat, huh? Yeah, that's bullshit, by the way. I paused. What? The retreat. She's not at some mountain wellness center. She's at Blake's lake house. Blake, her co-worker. The guy she always said was just a friend and super gay anyway. "Blake's gay?" I asked. Ivy laughed. "Blake's about as gay as I am, which is 0%. My stomach dropped. "How do you know she's with him?" "Because she told me." "Brag about it, actually." Said Blake invited her for 2 weeks, and she wanted to see where things could go without you in the picture. The retreat story was to keep you from getting suspicious. I stood there like an idiot. "Why are you telling me this?" "Because I'm sick of her treating people like garbage. She did the same thing to her last boyfriend. And honestly, you deserve better than being someone's backup plan." We talked for maybe 20 minutes. Ivy told me everything. How Natalie had been texting Blake for months, how she'd been complaining I was too clingy when I literally saw her like 4 times a week, how she wanted to test drive Blake, but keep me around just in case. Before I left, Ivy said, "Hey, if you need someone to talk to, I'm here." Seriously. She's my roommate, but she's being a terrible person right now. Thanks. I appreciate that. Want to grab coffee sometime this week? I work from home, so I'm pretty flexible. Update 1. That coffee happened Tuesday. We met at this place downtown, talked for 2 hours. Ivy was easy to talk to. Funny, direct, no games. Told me about her graphic design work, her terrible dating history, how she'd been thinking about getting her own place because living with Natalie was exhausting. She leaves her dishes everywhere, never cleans, and plays her music at full volume at 6 a.m. But rent's cheap, so I deal with it. We got coffee again Thursday, then dinner Saturday. Nothing romantic, just 2 people who'd been screwed over by the same source becoming friends. Except Sunday night, something shifted. We were in my place watching a movie, and she leaned over and kissed me. Just like that. "Sorry," she said, pulling back. "I shouldn't have. Don't apologize." I kissed her back. Look, I know how this sounds. But Natalie had ghosted me for over a week at this point. 0 texts, 0 calls. Too busy finding herself with Blake, apparently. Meanwhile, Ivy was right there, and she was real, present, not playing games. One thing led to another. Ivy stayed over that night, and the next night, and the night after that. Wednesday, 11 days into Natalie's retreat. Ivy was at my apartment when I got a text. Natalie, hey babe. Retreat has been amazing. Coming home tomorrow instead of Friday. Can't wait to see you, Red Heart. Ivy read it over my shoulder. Oh, this is going to be good. Should I tell her? Tell her what? That you moved on while she was cheating on you? Absolutely not. Let her come home. That feels fair, because it is. She wanted space. You gave her space. What you did with that space is your business. I thought about it, then replied, cool. See you soon. Natalie, maybe we could do dinner Friday? I have so much to tell you. Me, sure. Ivy grinned. You're learning. Thursday afternoon, Ivy texted me. She's home. This is going to be chaos. Come over around 7. I showed up at 7:15. Could hear shouting from the hallway. Opened the door. My keys still worked, and found Natalie standing in the living room, suitcase still by the door, face red. Where is he? Ivy was on the couch, completely calm. Where is who? Ethan. His cologne is all over your room. His toothbrush is in your bathroom. I stepped inside. Hey, Natalie, how was the retreat? She spun around. Her expression went from rage to confusion to something close to panic in about 3 seconds. Ethan, what? Why is your stuff in Ivy's room? Because I've been staying here. You've been staying with Ivy, why? Yeah, you said you needed space to find yourself. So I gave you space. And I found myself too. Turns out myself was happier with Ivy. Her mouth opened and closed like a fish. You're sleeping with my roommate? Ivy corrected. Was your roommate. I'm moving out at the end of the month. You can't do this. Either of you. This is betrayal. I actually laughed. Says the woman who spent 2 weeks with Blake at his lake house. Natalie went white. How did you? Ivy told me. Day 1 of your fake retreat. It wasn't fake. I needed time to see if Blake was a better option. Yeah, we know. So how'd that work out? Since you're back 3 days early. She looked at Ivy. You told him? You told him. Obviously. You backstabbing. Don't even start. You treated Ethan like crap for months. Made him think he was clingy when he was just being a normal boyfriend. Then you lied to him so you could bang your coworker. I did him a favor. This is MY apartment. Actually, Ivy said it's our apartment. Both names on the lease. And I'm terminating my portion at the end of the month, as stated in my 30-day notice that I submitted to the landlord this morning. Natalie turned back to me. Ethan, please. Blake was a mistake. We didn't even, it was just, I realized I want you. Can we please talk about this? Nothing to talk about. You wanted space. You got it. Permanently. But we've been together we were together. Past tense. You ended it when you decided to lie and cheat. I didn't cheat. We were on a break. We weren't on a break. You said you needed space. That's not a break. But even if it was, you still lied about where you were and what you were doing. So, she started crying. Real tears, not the manipulative kind. Please don't do this. I love you. You love having me as a backup plan. That's not the same thing. Grabbed the last of my stuff, a hoodie I'd forgotten, and headed for the door. Ivy followed. Behind us, Natalie was yelling. You're going to regret this. Both of you. You think you're so perfect together? Just wait. Ivy's a terrible person. We left. Could still hear her screaming in the hallway. In the car, Ivy said, well, that was dramatic. Think she'll calm down? Not even a little bit. Update 2. Natalie did not calm down. Friday morning, I woke up to 38 missed calls. All Natalie. Left one voicemail that was 6 minutes of her crying and begging me to call her back because she made a huge mistake and needs closure. I deleted it. Then came the texts. From her mom. Somehow she gave her mom my number. From her sister. All variations of, how could you move on so fast? You clearly never loved her. Ivy is manipulating you. This is cruel and unusual. Block them all. Saturday, Ivy called me panicked. She keyed my car. What? My car. Parked outside the apartment. She scratched home wrecker into the driver's side door. Did you call the cops? Yeah. They took a report. Security camera caught her doing it at 3 a.m. She's drunk texting me now, saying I deserve worse. I drove over. The damage was bad. Deep scratches, probably $1,200 to fix. Ivy was filing an insurance claim, but her deductible was $500. I'll cover it, I said. Ethan, no. This isn't your fault. It kind of is, though. She's an adult who made a choice to destroy property. Not your fault. The cops came back Monday with an update. Natalie was being charged with misdemeanor vandalism. She'd have to pay restitution plus fines. Ivy got a restraining order too, temporary, pending a hearing. But the entitlement kept escalating. Tuesday, I got an email from my boss. Subject: concerning allegations. Apparently someone had sent an anonymous email to HR claiming I was harassing and stalking an ex-girlfriend and her roommate. Included evidence, screenshots of text between Ivy and me, taken completely out of context to make it look like I was obsessed. My boss knew me well enough to ask for my side. I explained the whole situation, showed the real text threads, the timeline, everything. He believed me. HR dismissed the complaint. But I knew it was Natalie. Wednesday, Ivy's parents called her. Natalie had somehow found their number and told them Ivy was stealing someone's boyfriend and destroying a loving relationship. Her parents didn't believe it. They knew Natalie was messy, but the audacity. Thursday night, Natalie showed up at my apartment. Building security called me before letting her up. Thank God for good security. Sir, there's a Natalie here saying she needs to speak with you urgently. Tell her I'm not available. She's saying it's an emergency. It's not. Please ask her to leave. She refused to leave for 40 minutes. Security had to threaten to call the cops before she finally left. But not before screaming in the lobby that I was ruining her life and she was going to make me pay. That was it. I called the lawyer my dad had recommended for Ivy's situation. Set up a consultation for Friday. Lawyer's advice: document everything. File for a restraining order. Consider a cease and desist for the harassment. Also suggested Ivy and I avoid being seen together in public for a while. Not because we were doing anything wrong, but because it could be used to paint a narrative if things escalated legally. Filed the restraining order request Friday afternoon. Hearing scheduled for the following Tuesday. Meanwhile, Blake apparently found out about everything. He messaged me on Instagram. Dude, Natalie's insane. She showed up at my place, crying, saying you and her roommate conspired against her. I told her to leave me out of her drama. We're done. Good luck, man. Blocked him too. Didn't need that energy. The weekend was quiet. Too quiet. Ivy stayed at my place because she didn't feel safe at the apartment with Natalie spiraling. We ordered food, watched movies, tried to pretend everything was normal. Sunday night, Ivy checked the apartment's shared Ring camera. Natalie had brought 3 friends over, all of them recording on their phones, and staged some kind of intervention scene in front of Ivy's bedroom door, talking about betrayal and karma and what goes around comes around. Posted clips to TikTok. Tagged Ivy's Instagram. The videos got maybe 200 views before we reported them, and they got taken down for harassment. But people who knew us saw them. Started asking questions. Ivy posted one story on Instagram. For everyone asking, I didn't steal anyone's boyfriend. She was cheating first. I have receipts. Leave me alone. Then made her account private. Monday morning, Natalie's mom called my mom. How did she get that number? And apparently spent 20 minutes crying about how I destroyed her daughter's mental health and broke her heart for no reason. My mom, bless her, responded, your daughter lied to my son and cheated on him. He moved on. That's called consequences. Please don't call this number again. Tuesday was the restraining order hearing. I showed up with my lawyer. Natalie showed up with hers, some guy in a cheap suit who looked like he'd passed the bar last month. Judge reviewed everything. The texts, the voicemails, the vandalism report, the workplace complaint, the showing up at my building. Natalie's lawyer tried to argue she was emotionally distressed and not thinking clearly because I'd moved on too quickly with her roommate. My lawyer: Your Honor, my client ended a relationship after discovering infidelity. Ms. Natalie's response has been a pattern of harassment, property destruction, and interference with his employment. Her emotional state doesn't justify illegal behavior. Judge agreed. Granted a 1-year restraining order. Natalie had to stay at least 100 yards away from me, my apartment, my workplace, and Ivy. She cried in the courtroom. Her lawyer looked exhausted. Outside, Ivy was waiting. How'd it go? We won. She hugged me. Good. Can we please just have a normal week now? God, I hope so. Final update. It's been 5 weeks since the hearing. Things have finally settled into something resembling normal. Ivy moved out of the apartment 2 weeks ago. She's in a studio now, smaller but all hers. I helped her move. Natalie wasn't there that day. Conveniently had somewhere else to be. Left the apartment trash, though. Ivy took pictures, sent them to the landlord. Natalie's losing her portion of the security deposit. The restraining order's been holding. No contact from Natalie at all. Heard through mutual friends, who have since become just my friends, that she's telling people she's in therapy and working on herself, which, okay, good. Better late than never, I guess. Blake apparently got back together with his ex-girlfriend. Natalie tried reaching out to him a few times, but he blocked her. Man learned his lesson quick. The vandalism charges stuck. Natalie had to pay Ivy $1,200 in restitution plus court fees. Took her 3 weeks to pay it. Ivy sent me a screenshot of the check with the caption, "Petty justice tastes sweet." Work's been fine. HR closed the complaint officially. My boss told me if anything else came through, to let him know immediately. But nothing has. As for me and Ivy, we're good. Really good, actually. Moved faster than either of us expected, but it works. She gets me. I get her. There's no games, no manipulation, no wondering if she's lying about where she is or who she's with. Do I feel bad about how it all went down? Sometimes. Late at night, I'll think about Natalie crying in court or screaming in the hallway, and I'll feel a twinge of guilt. But then I remember, she made her choices. She lied. She cheated. She tried to keep me as a backup. When that didn't work, she escalated to vandalism and harassment. I didn't ruin her life. She did. I just refused to stick around while she did it. Met up with a mutual friend last week, someone who knew both of us. He said, "Man, Natalie's telling everyone you blindsided her, that you moved on before you even broke up. We never technically broke up. She said she needed space. Yeah, to cheat on you." Exactly. He shook his head. She's still playing the victim. Probably always will. That's the thing about entitled people. They rewrite history to make themselves the hero. Natalie needed space to find herself, which meant finding Blake. When that didn't work out, she expected me to be waiting. When I wasn't, when I'd moved on, she couldn't handle it. The consequences weren't me being cruel. They were just reality. She wanted space. She got it. What I did with my space was my choice. She doesn't get to control that. Ivy's lease is up in 6 months. We've been talking about getting a place together. Nothing definite yet, but we're looking. Her car's fixed. My mom likes her better than Natalie, which is saying something because my mom liked everyone. My dad keeps asking when he's going to meet her officially. Soon, probably. Life's weird. A month and a half ago, I was in a relationship that was slowly strangling me. Now I'm with someone who actually wants to be with me. Not because I'm convenient or safe or a backup plan. Just because. And Natalie? Last I heard, she's dating someone new. Some guy from her gym. Already posting couple photos with captions about real love and new beginnings. Good for her. I hope she treats him better than she treated me. But probably not.